Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Today we'll discuss Halacha on this week's Parsha, Parsha Tzav. It says in Poskim that we always read this in proximity to the Yontif of Pesach because a lot of the dinim of Hagolas Kalim, of what Kalim and how Kalim are kashered, begin to be discussed in this week's Parsha. And we find that the Torah says in Perek Vav, Pasuk Yitches, Daber Alarm V'Alban of Lamer, Zois Taras Hachatos, B'mkoim Asher Teshachat Ha'ela Teshachat Hachatos. Exactly the same place, and there's reasons for this where the Oila and the Chatas are shechted and brought in the same place. Kodesh Kadoshim He. And then the Torah goes on to speak about the process of the Korban Chatas, and he says, HaKoyin HaMachata Oisa Yechlena, B'makom Kodesh Te'achel B'chatzar Oyel Moyer. There has to be eaten the Chatas in the Makom Kodesh. Anybody who touches any part of it becomes holy. Or any of the blood that touches, of the chatas touches any beged. And here is the pasuk that's a yisoid for many dinim in Hagolas Kalim. Ukli cheres asher tivushal boy, the kli cheres that the korban will be cooked in, yishaver, has to be broken. However, if it was cooked in a copper keli, there will be enough. If you clean it up and you wash it out, it will be fine. So we're not going to talk today about the kli nechoshes, but we are going to talk about the kli cheres. The kli cheres, first of all, cheres is pottery. And today's days, as we'll soon see it's chinaware. Porcelain, some go say as lead, tin, any kalim like that have a very unique din. That if it comes in contact with something that you're not allowed to have, there's no way to kasher it, and yishavar, it has to be broken. Says Rashi, Lefi shahabliya shenevlas boy, since whatever taste was that became absorbed in the walls of that keli, or in this case we're talking about a korban, Nas and Noisar will be left there for too long. V'hu adin l'chol hakachim, or any other korban that has a time period by what time the korban has to be finished. But over here, this keli is going to always have some of that taste left in the walls of the keli. So the only way you could deal with this keli ever again is yishaver if it's broken. Why? So Rashi further on says, Limda Chakasav Kan. The Torah teaches us over here a tremendous inyan about kli cheres, about porcelain, about pottery, about china. She'ena yoytze midei yoy. It never ever comes out. Whatever type of kashering you will do to that keli, it will never take out the taste from the walls of the keli. It will always be there. Now, there's a misunderstanding. You might misinterpret this. It doesn't mean that you can't. If you kasher it, nothing will come out. If you heat up the keli, nothing will come out. If that's what it meant, then go ahead and use the keli use it over as much as you want, because it won't come out of the walls of the keli. That's not what it means. It means it will come out. You heat up the keli, the taste of whatever it absorbed last time will come out. But as much as hot as it will get, it will never take out all the taste of the keli. And for us to be able to use a keli that absorbed problem, tumah, kachim, or isser, we have to. The only way you could use it again is if you take out all of the taste of the keli, and that will never happen because a kli cheres will extract some of it, give out some of it every time you heat it up, and from then on, always it's going to continue give out some of the taste that you're not allowed to have, and therefore the only way to kasher it, yishaver. Now, first of all, this is, as the Rashi says, limdoch kan. We learn from here a rule about kli cheres everywhere. This is talking about the korban. This is talking about the korban chatas. Why is it that later on, when we talk about gi'ule kelim, which is how you kasher, or by kli midyon after the war, there is I mean, we're learning the whole din of klicheres yishaver. You have to learn it from the tuma or the neisar of a carbon. It's a different issue. It's not exactly the same point of gi'ulei kalim. So the Kli Yakar has two nice pirushim here, and the Kli Yakar says, first of all, it's a halachic understanding, that you might think that this chumrah that we have about this klicheres, this porcelain, this chinaware, is only when we're talking about if it absorbed heavy taste. Salka daita chamina dafka bekachim kalim. Perhaps when the karbonis, when the kachim that you're not allowed to have its everlasting taste was in there for 2 days, kachim kalim was for shnei yom and v'layla achas. So because the taste was really heavily absorbed over 2 days, perhaps then the klicheres will not give out all its taste. But a person might mistake and say, how about kachim? How about something like this carbon, where kachim she'ein nechalim ki'im l'yoyim echad v'layla achas. The whole beginning to end of the carbon chatas is 1 day, 1 night. You might think that kazeh ain't b'leia kol kach. If a klicheres wouldn't be b'leia so much, and perhaps in a case like that, you would be able to kasher a klicheres. Comes the Kli Yakar, comes the Torah and says, even in a case like that, once a klicheres absorbed taste, you're never going to be able to take out the taste completely. And the only takana is yishaver. But then he says a beautiful drush. He says the reason why the Torah taught us this din of yishaver, by klicheres specifically here, because taras hakeli is like the taras hachayta. Just like when a person, Rahman al-Tan, sins, there's a process of how to kashering, how to make him pure, and through the carbon he elevates himself, as we know, he purifies himself. So the same will apply in when we're talking about taras hakeli, and he connects the two beautifully. Why certain kalim, the only way you could kasher it is yishaver. So bisman hazeh, where there's no beis hamikdash, and a person has to know that that he really has to do proper tshuva. There's certain avedas which symbolized by a klicheres that the only takana is yishaver. This concept of a klicheres is a big halachic discussion. In the sense, in reality, meaning say ma'aseh b'poil, because there are so many things that are klicheres that you can't really kasher. As I mentioned before, chinaware, pottery, porcelain, lead, tin. Now there is a loophole here, and that is, who's the one that's machmir? Because after all, if you did use this keli, if you used it 24 hours later, it's a question of a tam pogum, because a taste only lasts in the keli up to 24 hours. And a tam pogum in a Torah is anyways not a problem. So that's a discussion for itself. There are certain things which we are in general we are machmir in a klicheres all the way through. That the only takana that you really can't kasher it. So much so, a klicheres a china plate is never going to absorb its taste more than hotter than a kli sheni, because a plate is not on the fire. So if you put something non-kosher, or a guy puts something non-kosher on a china plate, it's a kli sheni. By kli sheni, the heat of a kli sheni, in general, we are much easier. We believe that the taste hasn't absorbed so much in the keli. But by a klicheres, we go all the way out. We say a klicheres, no matter if it's a kli rishon, or irim a kli sheni, or kli sheni, or perhaps even kli shlishi. No matter what type of temperature the klicheres was used, be'isser, we stay away, we don't kasher. Perhaps so much so that they say that even if it was nishtamish b'tzaynein, there are some shittas that say, b'tzaynein means to say for cold isser. Some shittas say that we should stay away from kashering from chametz and Pesach over to Pesach for klicheres. Because klicheres, we are always worrisome that there's something left over there that will come out next time you use it. Yeshikoyach, and please join us again next week.